Steph had an amazing season. And, lots of people have been giving him MVP talk, which I was like, okay,
Sure. Yeah.
why not? But then I did hear Dame Lillard push back on that. And I was like, damn, he's got a point. Because he was like, well, last year when I was dominating, and did he win the scoring title last year?
Let me check.
He had an amazing season last year, but he was like, everybody told me I couldn't win the MVP because we were the 8th seed.
Right.
So I don't see how Steph, who didn't even actually make the playoffs, how he could be the MVP. And I was like, you know what? He's got a point there, folks.
2019-2020 season was James Harden.
Okay.
Damian Lillard was 2.
Okay. Yeah.
So he does have a point. And I think it's like, first and foremost, before we even get into this, I don't care about end of season awards. I don't care about arguing about the MVP. I don't care about, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it means to the players, because again, contract signing bonuses, you can use that to, which I'm all about. Get your money. That's awesome. But like the NBA screws itself because, and this isn't my idea. It's like other people's idea that like could be, it would fix this whole debate and all this stuff. Instead of like MVP and most valuable player, just like you have to have an offensive player of the year. You have a defensive player of the year award.
Right.
Why not have an offensive player of the year? Because then the scoring champion or whatever can get that. Because MVP, if it's most valuable player, it's typically LeBron James every year.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you take him off any team he's on and they suck.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing. That's always been the problem. That's always the debate with MVP is it's most valuable. And so it's kind of hard. It's subjective. It's not really a clear, how do you judge that? Like, cause people could argue that, like, you could make an argument that Julius Randle is an MVP candidate.
I mean, he was in the conversation.
Yeah. And the Knicks aren't nearly they're probably not making the playoffs without Julius Randle. So he was very valuable.
Yeah. You could argue Bradley Beal for the Wizards because he's their best player. And without him, they are one of the worst teams in the league.
Exactly.
So it's like, and if you have a defensive player of the year, why not have offensive player of the year as well?
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense to me. But all that said, Steph Curry, watching from home, gone fishing, as they say on TNT. But then the real playoffs got started over the weekend. Some fun games. I think that the Bucks Heat series is going to be a really good one. I'm looking forward to seeing that one because Miami's going to come back. I do like that Milwaukee purposely didn't tank or do anything to try to avoid that matchup, and they want to exercise the demons from last year. It's like ballsy and tough, but that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And they were, the Bucks were able to hang on in overtime against the Heat over the weekend. That was a really fun game to watch. The Suns up on the Lakers, and it looks like LeBron hurt his shoulder. Chris Paul hurt his shoulder.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, they're both going to play, but I could see the everyone's already writing the Lakers off, which look, I don't want the Lakers to win. I love LeBron, but I don't like LA.
Yeah. They won last year. I'm going for the Suns. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you write off the Lakers at your own peril, because last year in the playoffs, I think they lost every game 1 of every series. And then I was like, oh, okay, now we got to play a little harder. And then bam.
Exactly. I mean, they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So they're going to be you can't write them off. Exactly. Write them off at your own peril because they have 2 of the best players on earth on their team.
I do think they're not as good as they used to be. They're missing, it's crazy to say, but I feel like Dwight Howard and McGee were so big for their team as just enforcers because Andre Drummond is not that great anymore.
Yeah.